Hello and welcome to this week's Fibro section. Bling 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 bling. This week we are talking about depression. Depression because it's come up quite a lot lately, and I think it's quite apt being with the current climate and the way of the world at the moment. It's going to become more and more, frequent and common, so I thought it's a good one to go over. So here is the trusted notepad. Also, just so that you know, as I say in all my videos, that this is all done through research. I do put a couple of my opinions in, but the main majority is research. So let's put the notepad in position. Is it that the right height? I think it'll be okay. Right, let's get started. Depression with chronic illness. For millions of people, chronic illness and depression are their life. As chronic illness lasts a lifetime, many people become depressed. Now I want to add in here, chronic illness lasts a lifetime. For most of us, it does. For some, they recover. Not many, but some do, because I was researching this. If you follow me on Facebook, you will have seen I linked an article of someone that claims to have been cured from fibromyalgia. I'm not sure you're ever cured. I think it's more that you find ways of coping with it. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Just in case I have someone come back at me saying, well, I was cured. Depression is one of the most common complications of chronic illness. Up to a third of patients with a serious medical condition have symptoms of depression. If you're new to my videos, I mix up the words. I can't say them all properly. I say things that I'm not supposed to say. Partly due to fibro fog, partly due to my brain not comprehending what I'm saying. So just roll with it, okay? I tend to. Chronic illness can cause massive life changes and limit your independence and mobility. It can make it hard to do things you enjoy and take away your self-confidence and sense of hope. It's no surprise that when people with chronic illness often feel sad and sometimes leads to depression. Although any illness can trigger depression, the risk of chronic illness and depression gets higher with the level of severity and disruption to life that it brings. So that makes sense, doesn't it? Women, now this is interesting. Women have a 10 to 25% risk of depression, and men have 5 to 12% risk of depression without chronic illness. This is just normally. I wonder if it's due to hormones, those numbers. That's what I'm thinking. But with a chronic illness, hang on, let me turn the page, the risk increases to 25 to 33%. I want to know where they get their figures from. They just pluck them out. Oh, that'll do. Depression can intensify pain as well as fatigue, which you also might isolate yourself, which can make the depression worse. 30 to 54% of chronic illness patients suffer or experience depression. I have faced depression many times in my life after having both my children, not because I was depressed because I had children. I had postnatal depression, and I had counselling after having Poppy. I've been on antidepressants before. I had depression when I first got ill with fibromyalgia and had lots of counselling then, but I didn't go on antidepressants because I was already on a tablet that was supposed to be used as an antidepressant. Not that it was very good, but Symptoms of depression. People with chronic illness and their family members often overlook the symptoms of depression. The assumption is that you will feel sad having a chronic illness. Symptoms can also get masked by other medical problems. A feeling of low self-esteem, unhappy, hopelessness and no pleasure in things you usually enjoy are all symptoms. Physical symptoms can be constantly tired, bad sleep, no appetite or sex drive, and various aches and pains. So you can see how it would be difficult to diagnose when we suffer from most of those anyway. Treatment options. Firstly, speak to someone. Can't emphasize this enough. Talk to someone, whether it's a friend, a family member or a GP. And also I will put up the Samaritans hotline in the description for you, and they've got an email address, so if you don't want to phone and speak to someone on the phone, you can email them. I'm also putting up in the description the NHS app for mental health, so if you want to look at those or use those, you can do so. But it's so important to speak to someone. Depression for people with a chronic illness is much the same as someone who doesn't have one. Early diagnosis and treatment can limit the risk of complications. If depressive symptoms are related to effects of medication, your GP may need to adjust or change your medication. More than 80% of people with depression can be treated successfully with medication, therapy, or a combination of both. Medication should start working within weeks, so work with your GP on deciding which one's best for you. What I will say is when I've taken medication for depression before, it's caused, I think more at the beginning of taking it, like a lot of nausea. I was never sick, but I just felt very sick a lot of the time. So I think that's quite a common symptom for antidepressants, and also I know they can put on weight. So there's always side effects to medication, I'm afraid, but you have to weigh up the odds on whether you want to feel happier and maybe gain a little weight that you have to lose and feel a bit sick at the beginning. I didn't have a choice. When I had postnatal depression, I had to go on antidepressants because I was in a bit of a state. 3 or more common methods used in therapy are cognitive behavioural therapy, which is CBT, something that I've mentioned in most of my vlogs, interpersonal therapy, which I've never heard of, and psychodynamic therapy. Often a blended approach of the 3 is used. You can be referred to therapy from your GP or seek a private therapist, but obviously a private therapist is going to cost you money. And that's something not all of us have the privilege of having, So I've only ever had free therapy, so I've been very lucky. I can't turn my page, it's stuck together. Okay, I'm also going to link my counselling video for you, so if you haven't checked that out, you can check it out after this. Depression, disability and chronic illness form a vicious cycle. Chronic illness can bring on depression, which can then get in the way of treatment. Living with chronic illness is not easy, as we know, and it is perfectly normal to feel grief and sadness. But if the feelings don't go away or they're amplified, then you need to seek help. Don't isolate yourself. Reach out. I need that song. Darling, reach out for me. I'll be there. Sorry, I should be serious. I'm talking about depression here, but I'm just trying to make light-hearted stuff. You know what I always do. Right, so reach out, definitely, to family, friends, your GP, like I've said, or the Samaritans. If you haven't got family, friends, and you don't want to speak to your GP, you can talk to the Samaritans. There's other helplines as well. If you just Google it, you'll find them. Ask your doctor about support and therapy. Learn as much as you can about your condition, because knowledge is power. One of the reasons I make these fibro sections. You need to educate yourself. The doctors don't always seem to know what to do with us, so it's really important that we self-educate. So yeah, just go and revisit my videos if you forget anything. Make sure you have support from experts you trust and can talk to. If you suspect your medication is to blame, then ask your GP. Talk to your doctor about pain management. Keep doing the things you love to do. This is so important. You'll stay connected with your values and boost your self-confidence. One thing that I always say, your values never change, right? So before you got ill, maybe your value was to keep a clean and tidy house. You're still going to have that value, but it just might mean that it frustrates you because you can't fulfill that value as you used to. So instead of like going full whack and cleaning your whole house in one day, which will just send us into a massive flare for a week or so, break your housework into little jobs each day. That's what I do. Like, I've got a feather duster that I just put over, and you know, I get someone else to do the hoovering usually. Just break it down into little sections. Maybe you had a value of seeing friends and family, and maybe at the moment we can't do that, but that value is still there. The value doesn't go. So it's really important to hold on. You can maybe FaceTime them or speak to them on the phone, you know, so that value still remains. It's not going to go. If you think you are depressed, don't wait, get help. Sorry, my neighbour's just putting her rubbish out. My biggest tip to feeling happier is to release happy endorphins by, wait for it, drum roll, that's Poppy, exercise. you know that you love that word, really. So exercise releases the endorphins that release those happy hormones in your body. So definitely, even just stretch while you're sitting down. Stretch your arms up, try and hold it as long as you can. You know, just stretch, move your body, even if you're having to sit down, because it releases the happy hormones. It really does. My mood improves when I've stretched or walked, like I've just said. I also love to sing and listen to musical theatre, all of which release my endorphins. Try it. Right, like I said, I love musical theatre. I think that's where Holly gets it from. I absolutely love it. Poppy loves musical theatre too, actually. And I listen to an Andrew Lloyd Webber station on my Amazon Music thing that I've got on my phone. I just search for Andrew Lloyd Webber station, and I get songs coming up like constantly, one after the other, of like Phantom of the Opera and Wicked and all the ones that he's done, Waitress. I love it. It makes me feel good. It makes me happy, and that's what you've got to cling to, especially at the moment. Cling to what makes you happy and do it. I hope this might have helped a little bit. There are obviously a lot of other ways you can help depression, but these are the main ones that I feel would help. So like I say, please don't isolate yourself. Talk to, even if you haven't got loads of friends and family, you can talk to someone on social media. Just be careful you don't go down a rabbit hole on that one. You know, just talk to somebody is so important, because a problem shared is a problem halved. And don't feel guilty that you're depressed. That was a big one of mine, feeling guilty that I was depressed. Why? I don't want to feel depressed. I want to be happy. But that's not your fault. It's hormones, it's things that are happening in your life that are making you depressed, and you might need a bit of help to get out of that. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to go to the GP and get help. Right, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'm going to go now and film a pound shop. Yeah, it's not Poundland, it's called Pound Shop haul for the weekly on Saturday. So definitely tune in to Saturdays weekly and you will see that on there. Love you lots, take care, stay safe. Mwah.